Today on the channel, I'm talking about the one and only Face A Face Kaledo 3 with an indoor Seaglass to blush gradient tint on a Transitions XTRActive Brown lens. Let's check it out. Hello and welcome to the Hicks Brunson Eyewear YouTube channel. I am your friendly neighborhood optician, Daniel Brunson, and on this channel I like to talk about my favorite independent eyewear brands. I like to talk about lens technologies and talk a lot about transitions, tinted lens looks. Have a whole series on that, and that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about a beautiful Face A Face frame called Kaledo 3 with a Seaglass to blush indoor tint on a Transitions XTRActive Brown. Happen to have my Seaglass to blush indoor tint on today to mark the occasion. I really like this tint, and I'm going to get into the reasons why later. But first, I'm going to talk about Face A Face, the brand, because I rarely talk about this brand on the channel, and so I want to show you guys some of these cool frames. All right, so let's talk about some of these cool frames from Face A Face, and I've got them right over here on this wall right behind me. So this is the Face A Face brand, and as I said, I don't talk about this collection that much on the channel, and I don't really know why that is, because it's a beautiful French collection. I might know partially why it is. This is the segment where I'm going to bloviate for just a little bit. A lot of you viewers, a lot of my viewers, which I love, all of you guys, thank you so much for watching, but a lot of you are men. And Face A Face is primarily geared towards women. Now they do have some men's pieces. I'll show some of those in just a minute, but this is a very colorful French collection, and you know, it's got stuff like very creative, some very bold styles. I mean, this is a model called Framed One. So I mean, you know, this is good-looking eyewear. This is like the best in Parisian design. Like Face A Face, I will say about them, the colors of this brand are so creative. You will not see these colors duplicated anywhere else in eyewear, because Face A Face, they create a lot of their own colors. They have them custom made for the Face A Face brand by Mazzucchelli in Italy, and you'll never see colors like this in other brands. I mean, this is a new sunglass called Kakemo, and I mean, at first glance, just a nice tortoiseshell look. Okay, yeah, there's a little bit of fun purple right there, but look at that color on the temple arm, how that just beautifully fades from tortoise to translucent brown to purple, back to that brown color again. There's just so much good here. And I mean, some of these designs, I mean, this is incredible. This is Sotsas. Let's see if I can hold this up here. Really cool Parisian design. But primarily, as I mentioned, geared towards women. There are some good looking men's styles. In fact, this one right here, this is part of the Allium collection, which was made primarily for men. Allium is aluminum, the fronts are aluminum, the temple arms are acetate, and you know this is a men's frame. They decided to name this frame Torx. Come on, men's frame, right? So anyway, that's Face A Face, and I'm gonna make plans to feature the beautiful collection that is Face A Face more on the channel in 2025, because they have a lot to contribute to eyewear. Some of the women's frames are going to look silly on my mug, but I'm going to do it anyway because that's the way I roll around here. So let's get back to the video, the channel, the topic of today. Okay, so back to the topic of today. Let's take a look at this Face A Face frame. Face A Face, they designed a new case recently. As I mentioned, French brand, been around over 20 years, beautiful colorways. They redesigned their case recently. It's a nice looking case. Says Face A Face twice. The reason I'm not like super excited, the previous case was one of my favorite cases of all time. Just ease of use, easy to open and close, fits almost every frame. But it was time for an update. I think they've been using the same case for about 10 years, and so this is the new one. It's a little bit bulkier, but it's all right, it'll work. Let's talk about this frame though. This is the Kaledo 3 in color 2045, which is a emerald green on the front with Face A Face. They do this better than any other brand. the design of this frame, the color design, you have very geometric pattern kind of cutting through the outer area here that is almost a crystal, but it's actually, if you look at it, it's got like a little bit of a purple tone in this, what appears to be crystal area, kind of the same color that this temple tip is, but just a softer, more translucent version of it. That kind of work, when you have handmade acetate, when you get it to cut out in a, what appears to me to be a perfectly symmetrical cut from this side to this side, the skill and the talent that these artisans that produce these frames at Face A Face that they have is unbelievable. To create colorways like this that are this rich and this symmetrical, and that they come out just looking like this, it's really something that they're some of the best in the world at. Usually they pair a few colors together in a single frame, and they're so good at doing it. This is a tortoiseshell temple arm, and then as I mentioned, it's got kind of that kind of lilac-y, lavenderish kind of temple tip there. And what would you even call this shape? It's kind of an oval, but it's also kind of angular. But I just love the geometry of the empty space and how they cut it into the emerald green color. So, you know, rounded, cut, but then other, you know, just it's architecture. Like I think I've described what they do for a long time as like architecture, the way they use lines and light to produce color. They've done so many cool things. So as I mentioned, you know, this primarily is like the majority of Face A Face is a women's collection. So the Kaledo 3 probably gonna appeal more to women than it is to men. But we're gonna look at it right now because we've done something fun with the color of the lens. We've done a Seaglass 2 blush tint, which we did it at an indoor 30%. And this is one of those tints that every time we do, it's funny, different colors look different even in the same percentages. You know, some colors will just show up more at a 30% density. The Seaglass to blush is one of those colors that it just barely shows up. It just shows up enough to kind of flatter the skin. In my opinion, this is my Anna Karin Carlson Le Chap, where I did the same tint that is in here. So the same tint that's in this Kaledo Seaglass to blush is in my Anna Karin Carlson. And you can see in this color at an indoor density, it just barely shows up. You can just barely see it, but I think on a lot of skin tones, the blush can be a very flattering color, can kind of almost do what makeup does and kind of add a little color to the skin. So that's what you have when you have this Seaglass to blush at an indoor density. You have something that looks like this. Of course, in this frame with the emerald green color, it complements the color of the frame really well. And we did one of our favorite Transitions tint combos with this one. We did this with a Transitions XTRActive Brown, which is my personal favorite Transitions color. It works the best in the warmer summer months, especially out here where it gets pretty hot in Oklahoma. And it just creates a very visually pleasing experience to see through. So let's check it out and look at the Transitions XTRActive Brown. All right, so let's take the UV light, UV torch, whatever terminology you want to use. This is a new one. I like it. It's got a nice strong beam and it darkens that lens up pretty nice. Hopefully it's pretty uniform and there's not any missing spots. All right, now let's take a look. So you transform from the Seaglass to blush colorway into the Transitions XTRActive Brown. And I want to point something out. The XTRActive Brown color, it actually pairs really well. You think, wow, we're going from Seaglass green blush, changing to brown, seems very different, especially in this green frame. But look how well the brown Transitions color pairs with the emerald green. And you know it pairs well because, I mean, look what Face A Face, they did it in the frame design. You have a green front with a lot of brown tones and those tortoiseshell temples. So, of course, the brown and green pairs well together. For years, I've liked doing the combo where you have like a tortoiseshell frame, and the original Transitions graphite green color was a fun color to pair with tortoiseshell. Now the new Transitions emerald green in Gen S can be paired with tortoiseshell, but this is the flip side of that. You've got an emerald green frame with a brown Transitions lens, pairs really well together, plus you get the benefit of, in my personal opinion, one of the best Transitions colors to see through. The brown just is It's so soothing. It's good when you're looking out at landscapes. It's good when you want to see higher contrast and better sharpness, because brown lens colors block more blue light, and they produce a sharper view of the world. So there you have it. That's Transitions XTRActive Brown. Not to be confused with Transitions Gen S Brown. If you're new to the channel and you're new to the world of photochromic lens technology and you don't know what's he talking about, he's talking about Gen S, he's talking about something called XTRActive. If you don't know what those terms mean, if you don't know how those technologies are different, I'm going to link to a video that I have made that talks about the differences between Transitions Gen S and Transitions XTRActive. I'll link to that in the box so y'all can check that out if you're new to this technology. If you've got an idea for something you want to see, I'd love to get your suggestions. You can just drop those in the comments down below. And if you're new here and you haven't subscribed, thank you so much for watching. Most of you guys watching haven't actually subscribed. If a lot of you guys watching would subscribe, our number of subscribers would go through the roof. It's already been exploding over the last 6 months, and I thank you all for that so much. But if you haven't yet subscribed, I'd appreciate a like and a subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.